Now? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to another fantastic matchup here in the 2023 MVG Grand Slam tournament. It is good to have you back here once again here in the wee hours of the morning is when this matchup is happening. We've got one of our players that is from the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. So that is definitely why you're having this game happen so late at night. So I'm sure there may not be really too much in the way of those of you out there watching on live stream. But this, of course, can always be watched on demand, and we are glad no matter how you are out there taking in this content this evening. So thank you very much for being part of this once again. We are glad to have you here. Tonight, here in the booth with me, I will have my good friend here, Mr. Jose Casres. Jose, it's good to have you here in the booth tonight.
Thank you for having me. Sure, this is going to be a promising matchup. I mean, shall we go ahead and take a look at the bracket real quick here?
So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So right here in our bracket, you'll see we're actually going to have, this is the matchup that is the biggest difference in seeding. So we have our number one overall rated player here at MVG Productions for this tournament, Mr. John Bergman. He is going to be taking on the number 32 ranked Patrik Balog. Now, please understand, just because Patrik is rated number 32 does not mean that he does not have any knowledge and is not a good player. Part of the reason his ranking is there for this year's tournament, Patrik is still fairly new to us here at MVG Productions. We're still getting to know him. And of course, as we go along, I'm sure that he will prove himself out to be an even higher ranked player than this, but we have seen him play a few games, and he definitely does have some knowledge. So this is not going to be an easy one in the bag for John this evening, Jose.
No, without a doubt. I mean, again, seeding's only based on time here. Like you said, we have seen Patrik play some games, and for John, he may be the number one seed, but this is still no guarantee. I mean, you do not know how this game is going to unfold. It's just all going to come down to what our contestants can do during this, I guess, clock pressure, if you want to put it at that.
Hey, and you're right. That is one thing that so many of our players have talked about here in this tournament is the pressure of the clock. So we're going to see what it does here. Of course, the winner of this matchup, as you see there in the bracket, will move on into the second round to face Gianni Pizzi, who was able to take down Nels Snesrud in his first round matchup. You can also see in this end of the bracket, we've also got that matchup set between number 8 seed Travis Coulter and one of the few upsets that we've had in this tournament, number 24 seeded Michael Bombardier. So again, you can see upsets do happen in this tournament.
It's end of the day, it's just based on how the contestants have played the game. And with that being said, I think we're gonna go ahead and get right to it. So I will hand it to you, the questionnaire, as we get started with our first round. Good luck to both of our players.
Players, take your positions. Okay, players, so here in our first round, this is our teaser round. These are riddles. They can come either in the form of a joke type riddle, or it could be a riddle similar to what you would see on the old game show Jackpot. So with that being said, of course, our players start with 1 minute and 30 seconds on their clocks. They are given 3 switches, so if at any time during the round they can say switch and it will move, they will freeze their timer and move it over to the other player, who will then be forced to answer. themselves, or they could also use a switchback. That is something that is allowed in our game. They can also ask for a pass, which will just give them a brand new question. So with that being said, we're going to wish both of you the best of luck. John is the higher rated seed. You were given the option, and you have chosen to go first in rounds 1 and 3. So that means we're going to start with you. John, are you ready?
I'll ready as I ever be.
Okay, John, your time starts now. Linus in the Snoopy cartoon carries one of these around. It's something that you lay on a bed or on the ground.
Blanket.
Correct, Patrick. Break my lead tip and there's no excuse. On paper, I won't be of any use.
Pass.
I may look like a very tiny fish, but my true shape hasn't been set. I will eventually let out a croak, but not quite yet.
Switch.
John.
A frog.
No, I'm sorry. I'm very tiny and stick my beak into a flower. My wings hum, being flapped with such power.
Hummingbird.
Correct, Patrick. For these in a knitting basket or in a sewing pouch, but watch out for the tops in hospitals that make you say ouch.
Injury?
No. This is something that you eat, so start your guessing. It has nothing to do with clothes, but still needs dressing.
I'm going to pass.
On the dough, put the ingredients you bought, tomato sauce, cheese, whatever hits the spot, then into the oven. I taste great when hot.
Bake?
No, I'm sorry. If you need a ride, please step inside. I will go your way, but there is a fee to pay.
Pass.
People know you're feeling happy when your face does this, sometimes called a smirk or a grin. You may do this after getting a kiss. Time is up.
Oh.
And with that, John Bergman, you have won our first round here. You will be carrying 1 minute, 8.055 seconds on to our second round. Well done.
Don't beat yourself up, Patrick. But there are some toughies there, so.
All right, so
man.
yeah, back up here in the booth, Jose. Yeah, that was a really tough start there for Patrick. I know that, you know, with accents and everything, that can definitely affect some stuff, and even the difference in some of the terminology that we use in the different countries. I had a feeling that might be a bit of a challenge for Patrick in that first round.
Yeah, it's just like you said, just not on. It's not too familiar with any of our slang, if you want to call it that. But either way, I mean, it's only the first round. It is early, but regardless of what happens, anything could still happen.
Yeah, that's true. And as we take a look at the switch situation, Patrick did use one switch in that first round, so he has 2 of them remaining for the next 2 rounds. John did not have to use a switch in that round, so he still has all 3.
Yep. And rounds are only going to get tougher as they go on. But either way, now real quickly here in terms of the statistics, as it's become my job at this point. So
Right.
John got a total of 3 questions. He got 2 right and only missed 1. Unfortunately for Patrick, he got a total of 5. He either passed or got it wrong on all of them. He was 0 for 5. But don't let those numbers fool you. You really never know in this game. But with that being said, I will now hand the floor over to you as we get to round number 2.
Players, take your positions. Players, in our second round here, this is the odd one out round. In this round, I will give you 3 different options. With that, you are going to decide which one of those options either does or does not belong with the other two. All right, so again, John, you do have 3 switches in this round. Patrik, you have 2 of your switches remaining. Patrik, you will be starting off in this round. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Patrik, your time begins now. 2 of these animals eat other animals. Which one does not? A weasel, a zebra, a jaguar?
A weasel.
No. 2 of these equations will leave a remainder. Which one won't? 78 divided by 4, 81 divided by 9, 92 divided by 6.
81 divided by 4.
You had enough of the information correct. John, which one of these words is not spelled correctly? Surprise, S-U-R-P-R-I-S-E. Surrender, S-U-R-E-N-D-E-R. Survive.
Surrender.
Correct, Patrik. Which one of these is not a type of shark? Great white, hammerhead, viper.
Hammerhead.
No. Which one of these fruits does not have a pit in the middle? An apricot, a tangerine, a peach.
Which?
John.
What was the 3 again?
An apricot, a tangerine, a peach.
Tangerine.
Correct, Patrik. 2 of these numbers are not multiples of 3. Which one is? 32, 36, 37.
37.
No. Which one of these creatures does not live in a forest? An otter, a bison, a chipmunk.
Bison.
Correct, John. Which one of these words is not spelled correctly? 19, N-I-N-E-T-E-E-N. 13, P-H-I-R-T-E-E-N. 14, F-O-R-T-E-E-N.
14.
Correct, Patrik. Which one of these vegetables is not spelled correctly? Pumpkin, P-U-M-P-K-I-N. Cucumber, C-U-C-U-M-B-E-R. Radish, R-A-D-E-S-H.
Radish.
Correct, John. Which one of these is not the name of a city? London, Peru, Moscow.
Peru.
Correct, Patrik. Which one of these is not usually yellow? And time is up. And with that, John, you have won another round here. And with that, you are going to take 38.607 seconds into the final round. Well done.
I was wondering, you did pretty good with that, with this kind of questioning, Patrik. So,
Oh man, definitely a lot more competitive in that second round.
Absolutely. I think Patrik was able to kind of calm down a little bit. He was able to find a little bit more of his groove in that round, which again, it's tough to do. Again, that language barrier is no joke, but he did settle down. And, you know, if he can just get a few more questions in there correct, which we actually got some that round, if he can get a few more questions right, there's no reason that he cannot take this last round from, or I should say last round, this next round from John.
You're absolutely right. I mean, now that Patrik has familiarized himself with the game, he's starting to learn more about the different types of questions offered during these rounds. He's starting to take the flow in, so needless to say.
And as we take a look at those statistics, one side I've got there for you with the switches, Patrik did use another switch in that round, so he is left with 1 remaining right now. John still has not used a switch, and he has all 3 of his remaining. Jose, tell us what it looks like as far as their number of questions right and wrong.
Well, for the second round, John got a total of 4 questions, and he aced them all, got all 4 of them correct. Patrik got a total of 6 questions, and he went 50-50, 3 right and 3 wrong. The percentage is starting to work out better for Patrik, but again, I'm very excited to see what this next round is going to bring to the table.
Yeah,
but with that said,
agree.
With that being said, I will now hand the floor over to you, Mr. Questionnaire, because it is now time for round number 3.
Players, take your positions.
I have
All
to
right,
be,
players. Oh, go ahead.
I have to be careful because the last position I was in, I got in trouble with the police. But anyway,
Well, this is true. You do have to be very careful with that. But all right, players. So this is our third round here. This is the sequencing round. So you will be given 3 options here. The question may ask you to put all 3 of them in a certain type of order. It could ask you for only one answer, such as which one is the largest. So if that's asked, you only give me one answer or anything similar. Or it could ask for something like, give me the largest and the smallest, which means I would need 2 answers. So again, please pay very close attention, because if you do not give it to me correctly, I will not be able to count you right. And do know if it's something like largest and smallest, you'll need to be very specific and say, oh, this option is largest, this option is smallest. If you just yell out the terms, I cannot give that to you either. So
okay.
again, Patrik has 1 switch for this round to use. John, you have all 3. John, you will be going first in this round. Are you ready?
Excuse me, just for a second.
No, you're fine. I don't know what it is, but it sounds delicious.
It's a shrimp, so.
Well, there you go.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm ready, sir.
Hey, I mean, I'm with you. I wouldn't be able to deny myself a shrimp either. So, all right, John. So, with that being said, your time begins now. Which of these events happened first? World War I, the American Civil War, the American War of Independence?
The American War of Independence.
Correct. Patrik, read out each of these words to find the one with the fewest syllables. Understandable, umbrella, utility.
Umbrella.
Correct. John, which person appears first in a phone book? Phil Pencil, Percy Paper, Patty Pad.
Patty Pad.
Correct. Patrik, which one of these came first? The U.S. Constitution, the Gettysburg Address, or the Declaration of Independence?
U.S. Constitution.
No. If you boarded a plane in Los Angeles heading east, which one of these cities would you reach first? Atlanta, Philadelphia, Houston?
Atlanta.
No. Which person appeared last in a phone book? Lucy Lasagna, Lynn Lentils, or Larry Lemonade?
Lucy Lasagna.
No. Arrange these states in order from east to west. Ohio, Colorado, Maine.
Ohio and California.
No. Which one of these presidents' surnames has the most syllables? Eisenhower, Roosevelt, Washington.
Washington.
No. Who has the least money saved in their piggy bank? Is it Carl with 5 quarters, Linda with 12 dimes, or Jerry with 20 nickels?
Jerry for 20 nickels.
Correct. John, who spends the most time reading in bed at night? Is it Wilma for 1 hour 40 minutes, Derek for 80 minutes, or Terry for 60 minutes plus an additional half hour?
60 minutes plus additional half hour.
No. Who has to wait the longest until their birthday arrives? Harry for 6 weeks, Casey for 1 month, Natalie for 39 days.
6 weeks.
Correct. Patrik, which person appears last in a phone book? Betty Bagel, Bernie Breadstick,
Betty
or Billy
Bagel.
Burger?
Oh.
Time is up. That was incorrect anyway. So, again, another better round by Patrik. But, John, you have won this third round, and you will be taking 34.730 seconds on to the final round.
But may I ask a question, or?
You may. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the question, what was the question again about the Larry Lasagna?
Let me find it here real quick. Okay, which person appears last in a phone book?
All right.
Lucy Lasagna, Lynn Lentils, or Larry Lemonade?
I apologize. I thought that question I know was for Patrick, and I thought it was which one appeared first.
I totally understand you asking.
Yeah, but it's just that I just want to be fair to you, Patrick. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and hey,
Oh.
I'm sure that he totally appreciates that.
Wow, it's I don't know what to say. Just the rounds keep on getting more and more competitive. The more these two players get into it, I mean, it's going to make things very interesting going into our final round. With again, they will get an additional switch with the ones they've already saved. So, meaning that John will have 4 switches for this final round, and Patrick had 1 saved, so he'll take 2. And in addition, for question statistics, for those wanting to know, John had a total of 4 questions overall. He got 3 correct and 1 incorrect. Whereas for Patrick, he had a total of 8 questions, only got 2 right, and got 6 wrong. But this last round is anything and everything. So I'm very
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm very excited
right.
to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like coming into this last round here, again, Patrick did not use any additional switches in that round. So he still had one that he's going to get to carry on into that 4th round, along with his additional one. And John still has yet to use a switch, which truly he's not really needed to. We'll see what he decides to do here in this final round as we come down to find out who's going to be moving on in the tournament as we go back down to the floor to me, the questioner.
All yours, questionnaire.
Players, take your positions. All right, players, in this, our 4th and final round, this is the wild card round. In this round, you could be asked any type of question whatsoever. So again, pay very close attention because you will not know where it is coming from. There is no specific category. Now, as we were just mentioning about switches, Patrick, you had 1 still left from the first 3 rounds. You're given an extra one here for this round, which means you have 2 remaining to help you here in this final round. John, you did not use any of your switches. You're given an additional one as well, so you will have 4 switches to use here in the final round. With our time, Patrick, you start with that base of 1 minute 30 seconds. Unfortunately, you did not bank any time, so you will only have 1 minute and 30 seconds. John, you had your 1 minute and 30 seconds with an additional 2 minutes and 20 seconds added on, which means you will have 3 minutes and 50 seconds to play with in this round. Again, anything could still happen. The only way we find out is to do it. So, Patrick, you will be going first in this round. Are you ready?
We'll be ready.
All right, Patrick, your time begins now. Find the 2 colors below that are combined to make gray. Brown, white, black.
Brown, black.
No. But give me 2 words that begin with the letters P, W, like twig.
Pass.
All right, I'm going to give you a country name with the vowels missing. J-A-P. Excuse me, I'm going to throw that question out. True or false? The initials UFO stand for undisclosed flying object.
True.
No. All right, give me 2 words that rhyme with side, S-I-D-E.
Pass.
Give me the 2 founding fathers of the United States from the following names. Theodore Roosevelt, James Madison, Benjamin Franklin.
George Washington?
No, sorry, that was not an option. All right, give me 3 fruits or vegetables that begin with the letter P as in Paul.
Pineapple, potato, switch.
John.
But pineapple and potato, pear, peach.
Correct, Patrick. All right, give me country with the missing, and time is up.
Ah!
Wow, that round went quickly. Patrick, a good try there, but unfortunately you didn't get it done. John, congratulations to you. You win today's matchup of Grand Slam. You will move on to the second round. Well done. We'll talk to you again in just a moment.
Okay, no problem. But Patrick, I know you did the best you could, man. So, but it was a pleasure playing against you. I mean that.
John, if I know recently think I did the best this time, so
That's right.
unfortunately I did not qualify that, so give it a good word, John.
Hey, I feel the same about you, Patrick. You did the best you could, my friend. So thank you.
You too.
Oh
all right.
my
So, yeah.
goodness.
Yes, Jose, I am with you there. That
Yeah, that
was
needless to
something.
say, that was it was something indeed. I mean, I think I could be wrong on this. That may be the first time ever that I don't think a player has had to use all of their switches like that. I may be wrong on that. We may have had somebody do that before. But
I can tell you in a match from earlier today, Ryan did not have to use any switches. In another previous match from a few days ago, Scott Michaels did not have to use any switches. Beyond that, I would have to go a little deeper in my notes. But yeah, for the most part, players have used at least one switch. So that definitely makes a huge difference in not needing to use any of your switches there. But yeah, both players tried their very best. I really think just at the end of the day, while I think as Patrick gets even more and more used to hearing trivia questions here at MVG that talks a lot about things that are more specific to the country of the United States, that come next year, I think he will be leaps and bounds better as a player with just more of that knowledge about the United States as a country itself, Jose.
absolutely. I mean, like we said, we've seen him play some of the earlier some games on during his short time here on MVG. But like you said, as time goes on, he'll get more accustomed to the questions.
I agree.
He'll start learning more about our side, what goes on our side of the pond, essentially. And who knows? By next year, he'll probably he'll ugh.
Words
Understand.
English.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, it's totally okay. But yeah, so let's go ahead and bring those players in and talk to them here for just a minute. So we'll, of course, start off with our runner-up there, Mr. Patrik Balog. Patrick, again, we've kind of made mention a few times of thinking that, part of it just being that difference of you being from, over in the European part of the world, and not quite having some of the same knowledge of, American history and politics and money and things like that. Do you feel like that's something that really hampered you in today's game?
I think, and no idea. I'm just going to get some money for that. But if I win that, I will win. But it don't. If it's recently, that's really hard to play that.
Oh no, I totally understand that, but hopefully at the end of the day, you had a good time with it. You definitely learned something. Would you say you at least had a good time in your competition here?
Yeah, I'm feeling a good time to play that, and I like that this time. So I'm really going to work out sometimes this year. So I'm going to find out that how. So it's a good game.
Well, fantastic. Well, like I said, I think over the next year, you're going to pick up a ton of information being around us and getting used to the trivia that we do. So I think next year, you definitely won't be a number 32 seed. And I think that you we'll have an even greater showing. So hopefully you'll be back with us again next year. Thank you for being here this year, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure in the comments, give it up there. Once again for Patrik Balog, great contestant. And next we go ahead and that's right. We go ahead and call up here today's winner. Moving on to the second round, Mr. John Bergman. John, well done, sir. That was absolutely easily. While there's been a couple of dominating performances in our tournament so far, that was most certainly the biggest domination. Kind of run us through what was going through your mind during that match.
Just try and get my head around the questions, especially the first part of it with the riddles, and just doing the best I can, basically, because I know that with this Grand Slam, we're dealing with some of the, in my opinion, many of the smartest people who are part of this group, the MVG. So, in many cases, it all depends on who you're playing against. Sometimes you have to bring up your A game, if you know what I mean. And I just want to point out that for Patrik, it was a pleasure playing against you. I know the questions were more Americanized or something like that, but I know you did the best you could. So my heart goes out to you, brother. I mean that.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that, and I'm sure you would as well. Jose, kind of tell us there, John. We're going to go ahead and pull up on the screen the bracket now for everybody to see. Of course, I'm not sure if you've got the stream up there on YouTube to see it, but we'll just go ahead and tell you, of course, you've now moved into the second round, where next up you're going to be going up against Gianni Pizzi, who was able to take down Nels Nesrud in his first round matchup. But that was a very tightly contested game. What do you see coming out of that next matchup?
Are you talking to me, right? I didn't.
Yeah, when you go against Gianni.
I apologize. I thought you were going to talk to Jose. That's a good question, because I think that with Gianni, he's a very smart dude, and he's more quiet, and I think maybe a little more methodical. That's the word. So he thinks, and he thinks about what answers he's going to give. So, like I said, once again, but I'm going to have to bring up my A game once I go against him.
That's absolutely true. I mean, they moved on to the next round for a reason. I gotta say, man, these second round matchups are looking very promising.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, as we talked about earlier, we have got the matchup of Travis Coulter against Michael Bombardier. That's right there in that same bracket. John, if you're lucky enough to make it past Gianni, who would you rather see in the next round? Would you rather see Travis in the third round or Michael?
Travis.
Any particular reason why you'd like to see Travis?
Well, he gave me money to say that. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I could see that. I could believe it.
No. Sorry about that. All joking aside, but Travis is probably, in my opinion, but one of the smartest people we have here. But he knows his trivia, so if I do go against him, basically involving what happens, once again, I have to say to myself, but you can't slack, John, but bring your A game again.
Yeah, and hey, I absolutely have to agree with you there. But of course, first thing you'll have to do is you'll have to be able to go in there and take care of business up against Gianni Pizzi, and that will be a matchup that will be coming up in the coming weeks, as we're of course closing in, ladies and gentlemen, on that end of the first round. So, John, again, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you back here when your next matchup happens.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, like I said, Jose, we're getting close. We're getting very close to the end of the first round. We've only got 3 matchups remaining. We got one matchup between the 13 seed AJ Richards against number 20 Neil Sternitsky, the number 14 seed Aaron Glenn against you yourself, number 19 seed Jose Cazares, And then the last matchup is our number 6 seed, Brandon Scruggs, the owner of MVG, against number 27 seed, Lawrence McNeil. So still some really intriguing matchups out there, Jose.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I mean, these matches are toss-ups. I mean, we genuinely have no idea who's gonna take it. I mean, it's gonna be very interesting when my matchup against Aaron comes around, because we're both very darn good trivia players, and I could honestly see that particular matchup, as with the others, going either way.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you there. But of course, for us to get to that point, we're going to have to come back for more matchups later on. But for now, that's all the time we've got here tonight for Grand Slam. So I would like to thank John Bergman and Patrik Balog for being here tonight. I'd also like to thank Jose Cazres for being here to help us with the stats and to help with the play-by-play in the booth. Ladies and gentlemen,
Absolutely.
If you are enjoying Grand Slam, of course, hey, there's just a few things we could ask of you. Go ahead and give this video a like and a comment. That would be great. Let us know what you're thinking about it so far. Whether you like it, you love it, you hate it, you don't care about it either way. Just tell us what you're thinking. Let us know if you'd like to see it again come in 2024. Of course, go ahead and give a subscribe here to the channel of MVG Productions, because Brandon Scruggs continues day in and day out to put amazing content out for you guys. All kinds of videos coming out multiple times a week. And that is now in addition to all of these live streams that we are doing for you guys. And we hope that you're enjoying that. So again, make sure you give that subscribe. If you ring the bell for notifications, whenever one of these streams comes up, you can be one of those people that jump in here and be a part of it live. We normally, if it's of course earlier hours, we have many of the people here as a part of MVG that'll jump right in the live chat with you and talk about what's going on. So definitely make sure that you ring that bell for notifications, because there's so much great stuff going on here at MVG Productions, and we couldn't do any of it without Brandon Scruggs, of course, and we couldn't do it without you, the viewer, that's willing to give a little bit of your time each day to come in here and check out what's going on. Go out there, tell some friends, tell some family members, and as Jason Murphy would say, tell the whole world about what's going on at MVG Productions, Grandma Studios, and all the other production companies that we have here inside of MVG. But until we come back once again for another first round matchup here as a part of the Grand Slam 2023 MVG tournament, I'm your host, Herd Ferguson, and you sure as hell aren't. We'll see you next time for another matchup of Grand Slam.
See y'all next time, everyone.
This was an MVG production.